Bullying is often, but not always, hierarchical, in which a person is more powerful per designated position or social influence targets a single individual with less power for abuse. In contrast, mobbing is non-hierarchical, and it involves a group of perpetrators who collectively gang up on a victim for the sole purpose of pushing him or her out. Mobbing is a product of organizational dynamic that established in groups and outgroups operate under a veil of secrecy, discourage questioning, lack of due process, and more interested in preserving outward appearance than getting cut down in the entrenched problem. Duffy and Sperry, 2014. So what I'm saying is that when they talk about lack of due process, Chairperson Faroki, is when you go to Fox 5 or AJC and you give a one-way story and you don't hear the other defendants out, and then you smear them out in the public by everybody who's on the hierarchy that sits behind me right now, and the person that you're trying to push out don't have a defense because the media is onto it and everybody's against them. That is called workplace mobbing, which is more serious than bullying, and we should take offense to it. And Mr. Faroki, last time we was here, we asked, to talk about some questions with this airport when everybody's here. And I see Ms. Farrell is in the audience now. We appreciate that. When you guys had an opportunity to ask a question, we went to executive session, that is your right. But I just feel that, when we on the brink and we talking about corruption and everything that's going on out there, people not being safe out there, when you have an opportunity to ask those questions, not the employee-related commercial, not the candles, none of that stuff. When you have an opportunity to ask certain questions, and when we let them off the hook and go in executive session, the taxpayers are not being treated fairly. Your voters and constituents, you represent a pretty middle class to wealthy part of the city who pay high taxes. I'm sure your constituents, Mr. Faroki, would like to know what is going on at the airport. Is this true? Is the airport general manager's son, who HR said this is not a good look, he should not be promoted as the AGM, and he still got promoted? They want to know, is that true? They want to know, is it misspending out there? Is there such thing as a slush fund? Did they spend $40,000 on one music fest, which does not bring no money into the airport? Why is money being spent on all these things? They want to know, is it true? And when you let them off the hook, when you got everybody here, ask them the questions under here. This is like under oath. It's on television. Everybody see it. We cannot let them off the hook. When you got people at the airport are being fired when it comes to sex trafficking. We got the biggest sex trafficking in the world at the largest airport. Who is under the microscope out there? Who's the head leaders out there? Why is it going on out there, Ms. Norwood? Why? Why are we so afraid to ask them? But guess what I do know? I do know that, like I said in full council, there's a, 2-3 council members whose children go out there and get to work out there for the summer. It's not fair. There's a lot of poor kids out here that can't get out there. There's a lot of kids that want that experience, can't get out there. We got a person named Jan Lennon out there that's over airport security. Why aren't we asking them what's going on? This is the most unsafe airport in the world, y'all, but they prance in here and get y'all these fake demonstrations as if it's the safest. It's not the safest, Alex Warren. It's not the safe. It might be safe for you to go out there. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get treated pretty nice out there. When Beyonce arrives, she get treated like royalty. But guess what? It's not safe. It's not safe when you got a group of friends that is all on the same page out there and following the same thing. When I got arrested in college, Mr. Byron Amos, my friends decided to come to Atlanta and buy drugs, and they flew back. And when they got arrested, guess what? I had to take ownership. I was the only one from Atlanta. I had to take ownership. I was in college. I wasn't selling no drugs, but because I brought them to Atlanta up there, I had to own up to it. Sometimes you just got to own up to things, and guess what? You know what I'm saying? My life been perfect ever since. I come from a product of my environment where I thought selling drugs was the way out. I never had to sell drugs, you know what I'm saying? Graduated, just got my doctorate degree in June. I own up to it. I fess up to it, Ms. Norwood. When I come down here, I can look them straight in the eyes. They won't do it. They come down here and lie to y'all and prance around, and y'all think y'all need them. What you need them for? They ain't donated to your campaign, so what we scared to ask them for? They here. Ain't no need to go in executive session. Ask them. All the chitter-chatter about this state crap, the state can't take no airport away. Mr. Maynard Jackson wrote it out clearly. Mr. Marvin Arrington, when y'all spoke at the funeral over there, clapping for Marvin Arrington, you think he would have stood for this? He would have called him out. Maynard Jackson in his last days, Mr. Byron Amos, he called them out. He called them out. And we have them here. I mean, we just can't let them off the hook, guys. Miss Farrell is here. We can't duck this. Because guess what, Mr. Warren, it ain't going nowhere. I'm a free black man, not a scared Negro. It ain't going nowhere. I ain't scared of not one of them. It ain't going nowhere. Y'all got to deal with it. They so arrogant, they rather have me down here every day and in the news about $1,300 on some candles that got their name on it. A repass that was their family allegedly. You want 2 girls to pay this back for something y'all did? $1,300, Mr. Faroki. We'd rather go down this rabbit hole for $1,300. That's the mobbing we talking about. That's the arrogance. They got an employee out there right now, Ms. Norwood, that they got from Red Lobster. We got it right here. Red Lobster. It's allegedly that Ms. Jaffarell hired her, paid her $30,000 more. So what you have out there is a bunch of unqualified people. And I'm sure if you check Ms. Jaffarell's record, she wasn't even qualified to be the general manager, the deputy general manager, not qualified. And when you see other people qualification out there, this is how they buy loyalty. Oh, I take a Red Lobster employee that's making $12 an hour. I pay them $80,000. You think they not going to pledge allegiance to these people over here? I was making $12 and now you're paying me $80,000? Oh yeah, I'm going to pledge allegiance to you. And the HR is my friend. The head of security, my friend. Everybody who they hired is their friend. Oh, thank you for coming in, ma'am. Yes, thank you. So I want y'all to have that same energy y'all had with Martyr when you want to call Martyr to the front. I've never seen y'all go into executive session on Martyr. But when it comes to the general manager and the deputy and everybody else, y'all want to go into executive session. We can't do that, Mr. Faroki. And you know I have a conversation with your father, man, and I love him to death. He's a Malcolm X. He's a Marcus Garvey. He's a Huey P. Newton. But Mr. Faroki, I expect you to have that same blood through your father, and I know the blood flow through, man. You can't be compromised, man. I know sometimes, man, sitting in that seat make you compromise. But they don't pay your bills. They don't donate to your campaign. But I do understand that you guys, I do understand the nonprofit you guys sits on, and I do understand who's on that board. I pulled them 1099s up. I do understand that, some people y'all are cool with these people. Not at the expense of your taxpayers and your voters. No. You guys have a duty to uphold. You got an oath. When you guys take that oath, man, it ain't to them. They ain't got to take no oath. You guys have a sworn duty to the people, Mr. Warren. When you came back, you have a sworn duty, Mr. Warren. Now, when you live in that glass house, man, you can't be quiet, because guess what? You're complicit. Y'all love quote Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King said, silence is betrayal. Ms. Marcia Overstreet, you born and raised in Atlanta. We can't be silent no more. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Robinson. Just a quick point of privilege before I turn to Councilmember Norwood. One, I'll note that we've been joined by Councilmember Marcy Collier Overstreet. We went into executive session last meeting because the issue that you raised is a personnel issue, and personnel issues are always discussed in an executive session. It wasn't to discuss anything other than the personnel issue that you raised. Ms. Norwood.
Okay, Mr. Robinson, I have 2 recommendations for you. Number 1, if you have accusations, please go to the Inspector General. That's why we have an Inspector General. Go to the Inspector General and file your accusations, your concerns. Number 2, if you would like to see specific things that you are alleging addressed, please put those in writing, send those to the chair, send those to the law department, send those to the COO, so that there is no confusion about what you are alleging and what you would like to see resolved. That will be helpful. Those are my two recommendations, Inspector General and in writing.
Ms. Norwood, thank you for saying that. But do
Mr.
you
Robinson,
know,
this is.
hold on,
I know
hold on, Mr. Faroki.
No, sir, this is not for back and forth. You made your 9 minutes
But
of
she
public
gave,
comment.
hold on, but you let her speak to
yes,
me though.
because you invoked her name, and she's allowed to respond. But that's the end of public comment. Y'all can have a conversation offline.
But
you
here's the thing though, but when she say that
Mr.
though,
Robinson,
the head lawyer Nina
you
Hickson,
know how this works.
who used to be
You're
over
abusing
ethics,
your privilege.
it does no good to do that.
Okay.
They've gone to Inspector General. So guess what? That don't, you don't get
Thank you,
to
Mr. Robinson.
asking them these questions just because you want to give me-
Mr. Robinson, thank you.
Inspector General has a report, and Nina Hickson,
Mr. Robinson.
she got it, and she's.
Thank
Hey,
you.
man, you can't call no police on me. That's the wrong thing.
Listen,
Hey, I'm gonna respect you. That's the wrong thing to do. That's the wrong thing.
you know how this works.
Okay, that's the wrong thing to do. You're gonna call the police on me.
Look, if you're going to keep talking beyond your public comment, then we're going to usher you.
She ain't supposed to rule.
Mr. Robinson.
She addressed me. I get
Thank
to
you.
address her.
Mr. Sumlin, you're next.
Hey, come on, people. Let's go for this man. Don't let them be accountable on your watch.
Mr. Sumlin. Brian Sumlin.
That don't even scare me.
Just when you walk in. 3 minutes.
Hi, thank you for inviting me back. I'll be quick. I just wanted to say, most recently about the streetcar project and advancing to the next stage.
Mr. Sumlin, just hold on for a second.
Okay.
Mr. Robinson, if you're going to be disruptive, we're going to ask you to leave. You had 9 minutes of public comment, which is 3 times what anyone else is going to have today because you brought folks in to designate your time, which is within your right. But let's let the meeting proceed professionally, please. Mr. Sumlin.
Oh, I forgot. Okay. Can I start over? May I?
Yes, you may start over. You have 3 minutes. Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to say most recently in July about the streetcar project passing, the consulting firm going to the next stage, is that we like to have more participation from the council and the ATL DOT to help steer the project along. And we're at the point now that we don't want to do any more saying who's responsible for which part of the project. And we're at the point now as to where we need all the participation, all the, the efforts going together towards the project and making sure it's successful, even because, the board voted on with the conditions of improving the existing streetcar system. So I would say I would like to work on that together as a whole for all the entities involved with this project. Okay, then my second request, and really engaging with my neighborhoods as transportation chair, is that we need more presence from ATL DOT to come to the MPU meetings and tell us and talk to us. You don't have to come. They don't have to come every month, but they need to at least come at least quarterly and give us an update on our projects. We got the Cab Avenue in progress. Just giving a brief update on what's going on our streets. The police and stuff report they come to every MPU. Why is ATL DOT not different? Why are they different? So that was some feedback that we're getting that could help us. And, they're doing a good job. We did Cheshire Bridge, we did other, major projects, but we just feel that if the community has their concerns, at least acknowledged and addressed by ATL DOT when they come to the meetings, then I think it can, curtail down some of the confusion and some of the concerns that we may have as to, or is this not getting done or whatnot. So that would be my feedback for this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sumlin. Your suggestion, the ATL DOT, or your request that they show up quarterly is a fair one. We'll raise that issue with our commissioner and department, so thank you for that input. Mr. Clubb, Nathan Clubb.
Nearly as tall as Brian, so this is going to take a little adjustment. There we go. Nathan Clubb. I live in Southeast Atlanta. Today I'm here to speak on behalf of Beltline Rail Now. We're excited to see that the streetcar east extension is going to move forward. It's got an important, crucial first step to getting rail across the entirety of the Beltline. But as we move this forward, there is a critical, important role, we believe, for the Transportation Committee to play. As noted at the last MARTA board meeting, as noted by letters of us to all of you, there are a lot of important fixes that we need to make to the existing streetcar to ensure that the extension will actually be part of a functional system. And a lot of those needed fixes are going to be occurring within City of Atlanta right away, and a lot of those fixes will require legislation that will come from this body. There's going to be costs involved with it. There's going to be reallocations of space potentially. And so that we ask that even though MARTA now owns the streetcar, that you all engage with the design contractor, HDR, engage with MARTA early on, so that way we can ensure that there is funding in place, ensure that stakeholders and communities brought together, because this is crucial. If we do not have this done in time, we're going to have an extension that could be possibly blocked by different traffic and things in the downtown area. And there is not money, we know, within MARTA for these fixes, so that any money that comes to address these things could delay other important projects. Like I know, Chair Faroki, how important it is to get the North Avenue BRT done. How important it is for Beltline Rail Now to get rail on the south side, going through Councilmember Lewis's district, Councilmember Overstreet's district, because those parts of the districts do not have a whole lot of other progress in terms of MARTA projects. And so we believe that if we all come together, we can build a functional, expansive transit system, the one that we need to be a world-class city. So I just thank you all for your time, and we just ask you to please engage with MARTA HDR on the front side of this. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now move to item G, public hearing items. I'll motion to move into public hearing. Second by Lewis, who we've been joined by, Councilmember Antonio Lewis. Please open the vote.
One moment. The vote is open. The vote is closed. 6 yeas, 0 nays. The public hearing is now open.
We have 3 items for public hearing today. Is that correct, Mr. Johnson? Yeah.
Correct. Item number 1, 23-0-1323, an ordinance by Transportation Committee authorizing the mayor's designee on behalf of the City of Atlanta to abandon portions of a public street known as Old Jonesboro Road, consisting of approximately 0.423 acres, lying and being a land lot 65 of the 14th District of Fulton County, Georgia, being more specifically described in attached Exhibit A to 3799 Browns Mill LLC, authorizing the mayor as designee to execute a quitclaim deed for such abandoned right-of-way and for other purposes.
Beth, do you have any comment on this from DOT? No.
Chair, we need a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll move to close the public hearing. We're not voting on the paper. It's an abandonment, right? I'll move to close the public hearing. Second by Juan. Please open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 6 yeas, 0 nays. The public hearing is now closed.
I'll move to enter public hearing for item 2. Second by Amos. Please open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 6 yeas, 0 nays. The public hearing is open for item number 2.
No comment from DOT. I'll move to. Oh, did you read the caption then?
Item number 2, 23-0-1349, an ordinance by Councilmember Howard Shook authorizing the abandonment of a portion of Pine Tree Road, also known as Old Pine Tree Road, consisting of approximately 0.42 acres and being more specifically described in attached Exhibit A, lying and being in land lot 1585 of Fulton County, Georgia, authorizing the mayor as needed to execute a quitclaim deed to the Georgia Department of Transportation for such abandoned right-of-way, waiving certain provisions of the Code of Ordinances and other purposes.
No comment from ATL-DOT. I'll move to close the public hearing. Second by Juan. Please open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 6 yeas, 0 nays. The public hearing is now closed for item number 2.
Okay, I'll move to enter public hearing for item 3. Second by Juan. Please open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 6 yeas, 0 nays. The public hearing is now open for item number 3. Item number 3, 2030-1382, an ordinance by Transportation Committee authorizing the mayor as designated on behalf of the City of Atlanta to abandon a portion of a public right-of-way located adjacent to the intersection of West Haven Drive and Rosemary Avenue, consisting of approximately 0.150 acres, lying and being in land lot 150 of the 14th District of Fulton County, Georgia, being more specifically described in the attached Exhibit A, to Amy Colwait, authorizing the mayor as designated to execute a quitclaim deed for such abandoned right-of-way and for other purposes.
I'll move to close the public hearing. Second by Juan. Please open the vote on the motion to close the public hearing.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 6 yeas, 0 nays. The public hearing is now closed for item number 3. Mr. Chair, can we take items 1, 2, and 3 together as a block?
Yes, please do. Motion approved by Juan, second by Faroki on all 3. Please open the vote.
One moment. The vote is open. The vote is closed. 6 yeas, 0 nays. These items are found favorable. This takes us to our consent agenda, section H, ordinance for first reading. Item number 4, 2030-1437, an ordinance by Transportation Committee to amend Resolution 17R3506 to clarify the agreements authorized to be executed thereunder in support of the Piedmont Road widening project, to ratify the execution of the contract for acquisition of the right-of-way with the Georgia Department of Transportation for the project, to ratify services rendered under such contract and for other purposes. This takes us to regular agenda, section I, ordinance for second reading. Mr. Chair, this item will need to be substituted. May there be a motion to bring forth a substitute?
Yes, so moved. Second by Juan. Please open the vote on the bringing the substitute forward.
The vote is open. The vote is open. The vote is closed. 6 yeas, 0 nays. The substitute before you. The substitute provides an updated version of Exhibits A and B, and also adds additional language to clarify the city's role in assisting MARTA with any condemnation necessary for project completion. Item number 3, 2030-1380, a substitute ordinance by Transportation Committee, an ordinance authorizing the mayor as designee and the city attorney in the event that negotiations are unsuccessful to initiate condemnation proceedings pursuant to Georgia Code Section 32-3-1 on behalf of the Metropolitan Atlanta Rapid Transit Authority in connection with the acquisition of certain property rights and interests necessary for the expansion, construction, improvement, maintenance, and operation of MARTA's Cleveland Avenue Metropolitan Parkway Arterial Rapid Transit Project, to execute all documents necessary for the acquisition of property by condemnation, waiving certain provisions of Article 10 Real Estate and Procurement Code of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances and for other purposes.
I think you mentioned item 3. This is item 5, correct?
Yeah, correct. Item 5.
Mr. Saxon.
Yeah, good morning, council members. John Saxton, Mobility Planning Assistant Director, ATL-DOT. So this legislation is to allow for the initiation of right-of-way acquisition activities for the Cleveland Avenue Metropolitan Parkway ART project, and is needed when it comes to having adequate right-of-way for building the enhanced shelters and necessary pedestrian connection facilities to support the project. This legislation replicates what was done for the Summerhill BRT project that was passed by this body.
Great. Mr. Lewis. Oops.
I want to say we worked on the front end of this. My office and the mayor's office in MARTA. I know we've had some testy battles at time with MARTA, but I think that this project will change the entire look of Cleveland Avenue and Metropolitan. It will decrease decrease the traffic the time period for getting down to the train station in half. It's almost like I call it the fast bus. And so I'm super in favor of this, and I can't wait to see it get done. I'm happy that Cleveland Avenue got done first. Happy Metropolitan Parkway got done first. This is an equity project, and I move to approve.
Motion by Lewis, second by Faruqi. Please open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 6 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable on substitute. Item number 6, 23-01381. An ordinance by Transportation Committee on behalf of the Atlanta Department of Transportation to correct ordinance 22-01369 adopted by the Atlanta City Council on May 16th, 2022, and approved by the mayor on May 23rd, 2022, which created the Moving Atlanta Forward Stakeholder Oversight Committee, among other purposes, by including additional information required by City Charter Section 3-401.2A4, which specifies the information that must be included in legislation creating a board, authority, commission, or similar body, all other parts of the legislation to remain unchanged and for other purposes.
Moore.
Morning, Greg Moore, Deputy Commissioner Capital Delivery, ATL DOT. We are in support of this with three changes in the language, being ATL DOT having responsibility, but also jointly with DEEM and DPR as priorities are arranged, along with the sunset date of sunset as substantial completion of the MAF program, Moving Atlanta Forward, and also with the frequency of the committee meeting being quarterly or less frequent as deemed necessary by the committee.
Great. So just so I'm clear, these changes that you're articulating already incorporated in the doc, or is this a request for us to amend it in this way?
It's a request to amend the legislation to add these, but it doesn't have to be amended. This paper does not have to be amended.
It is not. Well, I know it has not been amended. Does it need to be amended?
No.
No. Okay. I'll move to approve. Second by Juan. Please open the vote.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote? The vote is closed. 6 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable. Item number 7, 23-01383. An ordinance by Transportation Committee authorizing the mayor as designee on behalf of the Atlanta Department of Transportation to amend ordinance 22-01444 adopted by the Atlanta City Council on June 21st, 2022, and approved by the operation of law on June 29th, 2022, for the purpose of adding additional parcels listed in Exhibit B and for other purposes.
Any comment from DOT on this one? Nope. I'll move to approve. Second by Juan. Please open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 6 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable. Item number 8, 23-01391. An ordinance by Councilmember Michael Julian Bond requesting that the Atlanta Department of Transportation to declare Mullins Street Southwest as an open and active street, requesting the Atlanta Department of Transportation to develop a portion of the right-of-way along Mullins Street Southwest located between T Road Southeast and the dead end of Mullins Street, lying and being in land lot 212 of the 14th District of Fulton County, Georgia. Tax parcel ID is listed herein and for other purposes.
So it's my understanding we're going to hold this paper and then substitute it at a later date. But Commissioner Cavanis, your thoughts?
Solomon Cavanis, Commissioner, ATL DOT. Good morning, everyone. Good to see you again. Yes, there's some language that needs adjusting, and we're going to hold this till next time.
Great. I'll move to hold. Second by Overstreet. Please open the vote.
The vote is open.
We'll tell you if it's open or not. I know it's on the screen.
One moment, we're having technical difficulties. Mr. Chair, may we do a voice vote for this item?
So all those in favor, yay? Yay. Any opposed? Nope. Unanimous approval. To hold.
To hold.
Yeah.
Item number 9, 23O1399. An ordinance by Councilmember Alex Wan to amend Chapter 150 Traffic and Vehicles, Article 4, Stopping, Standing, and Parking, Division 4, Residential Permit Parking, to require that areas to be designated as residential parking permit areas shall be approved via ordinance, and that they shall be designated and the regulations thereto shall be codified in the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances to amend Chapter 150, Article 4, to codify the current residential parking areas and the regulations related thereto, which had been previously administrative authorized and for other purposes, and the sponsor requests that this item be held.
Mr. Wan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, I've spoken with the department. They need one more cycle to do some more cleanup on the language. With that, I'll make the motion to hold.
Second, please open the vote on the motion to hold. Mr. Cavanis, did you have anything to add?
No, I just wanted to be here in case there are questions and concerns.
Well, I will ask a question while we're voting. I mean, to the sponsor, why do you think this is necessary?
So Mr. Amos had passed some legislation a couple cycles ago that addressed the fines during special events. And during that process, we noticed that not all residential permit parking programs were listed in his legislation, which then unfolded that there were some that had been created administratively and others that had been created legislatively. So what we'd like to do is create them all legislatively so that it's consistent. That way all of the penalties and fines and restrictions and enforcement will be uniform across, but there is some cleanup language that we need to take care of.
Great. Thank you. Do we need a voice vote?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Who made the motion? Juan made the motion. I made the second on the motion to hold. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope. The motion to hold passes unanimously.
Item number 10 requires a substitute. It changes the caption. May there be a motion to bring forth the substitute?
So moved. Is there a second to bring forth the substitute? Second by Juan. Please open the vote on the motion to bring forth the substitute for item number 10. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope. Any abstentions? Nope. The motion to bring forth the substitute passes unanimously.
Item number 10, 23O1406, an ordinance by Councilmember Martin Havens, as substituted by Transportation Committee, an ordinance authorizing the mayor as need to rename the north-south portion of North Yards Boulevard Northwest to Yancey Street Northwest to waive certain provisions of Section 138-8 of the Atlanta City Code of Ordinances and for other purposes. The substitute provides Exhibit A, and also as the north and south portion of North Yards Boulevard will be renamed to Yancey Street.
All right. I will move to approve as substituted. Mr. Juan, you have a comment?
So I thought with street renamings, there was a process we have to follow in terms of hearings and all that. Are we not?
Yes, this item will need to be held for a public hearing.
Oh,
Okay,
apologies.
thank you.
I will withdraw my motion to approve and enter a motion to hold. Second by Amos. Please open the vote. Still offline. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right. The motion to hold passes unanimously.
This takes us to Section J, resolutions. Item number 11, 23R3844, a resolution by Councilmember Dustin Hillers requesting the mayor's designee install traffic calming devices on St. James Drive Northwest between Hightower Road Northwest and First Street Northwest in order to reduce speeding and for other purposes.
Mr. Smith.
Good morning, council members. Alan Smith, Deputy Commissioner, ATL DOT, Tim Division. We support this legislation.
I'll move to approve. Second by Juan. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, the item 11 passes unanimously.
Mr. Chair, if there is no objection from the body, can we take items number 12 and 19 together as a block? These are for the installation of stop signs.
No objections.
Item number 12, 23R3846, a resolution by Councilmember Liliana Bakhtiari requesting the mayor or his designee to make the intersection of Chester Avenue Southeast and Wally Street Southeast an always stop control intersection, to request the Atlanta Department of Transportation to install stop signs at the intersections and for other purposes. Item number 13, 3847, a resolution by Councilmember Liliana Bakhtiari requesting the mayor as designee to make the intersection of Gaskill Street Southeast and Fulton Terrace Southeast an always self-control intersection, to request the Atlanta Department of Transportation to install stop signs at the intersections and for other purposes. Item number 14, 23R3848, resolution by Councilmember Liliana Bakhtiari requesting the mayor or his designee to make the intersection of Kirkwood Avenue Southeast and Eston Street Southeast an always self-control intersection, to request the Atlanta Department of Transportation to install stop signs at the intersections and for other purposes. Item number 15, 23R3849, a resolution by Councilmember Liliana Bakhtiari requesting the mayor as designee to make the intersection of Kirkwood Avenue Southeast and Flat Shoals Avenue Southeast an always self-control intersection, to request the Atlanta Department of Transportation to install stop signs at the intersections and for other purposes. Item number 16, 23R3850, a resolution by Councilmember Liliana Bakhtiari requesting the mayor or his designee to make the intersection of Manigault Street Southeast and Weatherby Street Southeast an always self-control intersection, to request the Atlanta Department of Transportation to install stop signs at the intersections and for other purposes. Item number 17, 23R3851, a resolution by Councilmember Liliana Bakhtiari requesting the mayor or his designee to make the intersection of Walthall Street Southeast and Manigault Street Southeast an always self-control intersection, to request the Atlanta Department of Transportation to install stop signs at the intersections and for other purposes. Item number 18, 23R3856, a resolution by Councilmember Jason Winston requesting the mayor or his designee to make the intersection of Conrad Avenue Southeast and Lakewood Terrace Southeast a two-way stop-control intersection, to request the Atlanta Department of Transportation to install stop signs at the intersections and for other purposes. Item number 19, 23R3857, a resolution by Councilmember Jason Winston requesting the mayor or his designee to make the intersection of Little Street Southeast and Hill Street Southeast an always stop-control intersection, to request the Atlanta Department of Transportation to install stop signs at the intersections and for other purposes.
Any comment?
The department supports the legislation.
All right, I'll move to approve these as a block. Second by Juan. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The matter, items
12 through 19.
12 through 19 are approved as a block unanimously.
Item number 20 requires a substitute. May there be a motion to bring forth a substitute?
So moved.
Second.
Second by Overstreet. All those in favor of bringing forth a substitute for item number 20, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, the motion before the substitute is unanimous.
Item number 20, 23R3858, a resolution by Councilmember Jason Winston as substituted by Transportation Committee, a resolution requesting the mayor or his designee to make the intersection of Stillman Street Southeast and Medora Avenue Southeast and Lakewood Terrace Southeast an always self-control intersection, to request the Atlanta Department of Transportation to install stop signs at the intersections and for other purposes. The substitute changes the caption to reflect that caption in the legislation, changing a two-way stop to an all-way stop, changes Medora Street Southeast to Medora Avenue Southeast, and adds Lakewood Terrace Southeast to the caption and all references of the legislation.
Smith.
The department supports the legislation.
All right, I'll move to approve. Second by Juan. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, item 20 passes unanimously.
Mr. Chair, we can vote electronically now.
I'm sorry?
We can take an electronic vote now.
Do you want to do it for this item, even though we just voted, or just the next item?
We'll go to the next one.
Okay, great.
Item number 21, 23R3862, a resolution by Councilmember Andrea L. Boone requesting the Commissioner of the Atlanta Department of Transportation to conduct a traffic study on Highview Road Southwest to determine the need for any safety improvements such as traffic calming devices, reduced speeds, or stop signs, and for other purposes.
Mr. Smith.
The department supports the legislation.
Ms. Norwood.
Yes, and I support the legislation. I want to use this opportunity to ask about the District 8 traffic study that was passed legislatively in 2022. So I want to be sure I'm in line if this comes first, but I'd like to get mine rolling for my entire district, please.
Definitely.
All right, I'll move to approve. Second by Juan. Please open the vote.
One moment. The vote is open. Will everyone please vote? The vote is closed. 6 yeas, 0 nays. The item is favorable. Item number 22, 23R 3863, a resolution by council members Andre L. Boone and Michael Julian Bond requesting the mayor's designee to install no parking signs to restrict parking on the north side of Peyton Woods Trail, southwest from Cativo Drive to 180 west of Cativo Drive and for other purposes. And the sponsor requests that this item be filed.
Motion to file by Juan, second by Faroki. Please open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. This item is filed by committee. Item number 23, 23R 3865, a resolution by Councilmember Byron D. Amos authorizing the mayor's designee on behalf of the Department of Aviation to enter into a First Amendment of agreement as listed herein, parking operations and management services related to services provided by SP Plus Red Bridge at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport to add certain language required by RRS Revenue Procedure 2017-13 and for other purposes.
Aviation.
Good morning. Brian Benefield, Deputy General Manager, Chief Financial Officer, Department of Aviation. This resolution is to amend the current parking operations management contract related to services provided by SP Plus Red Bridge Joint Venture. This resolution adds language required by IRS Revenue Procedure 2017-13 to clarify tax position of the service provider, adding no adverse position language to the agreement, and this is a language change only resolution.
Motion approved by Juan, second by Overstreet. Please open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. The item is favorable. Item number 24, 23R 3964, a resolution by Transportation Committee supplementing a joint task order fund for fiscal year 2024, an amount not to exceed $13,392,254.00 for use under 5 architectural and engineering design services contract for the services at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. All services will be charged to and paid from the account numbers listed herein and for other purposes.
Aviation.
Good morning. Tom Nasalki, Assistant General Manager for Planning and Development at the Department of Aviation. We have all architectural and engineering teams that do design to support our capital program, and this resolution would provide them additional funding to keep designing.
I'll move to approve. Second by Amos. Please open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable. Item number 25, 23R 3965, a resolution by Transportation Committee supplementing a joint component guaranteed maximum price fund in an amount not to exceed $87,462,266.00 for use under 4 on-call construction management at-risk contracts for services at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. All services will be charged to and paid from the account numbers listed herein and for other purposes.
Aviation.
Similar to the previous legislation, we have 4 on-call construction manager at-risk teams that do construction. This additional funding will help them keep those 4 teams moving.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Second by Overstreet. Please open the vote.
The vote is open. Would everyone please vote? The vote's closed. 6 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable. Item number 26, 23R 3966, a resolution by Transportation Committee on behalf of the Atlanta Department of Transportation to amend Resolution 20-R-4195 adopted by the Atlanta City Council on August 17, 2020, and approved by the operation of law on August 26, 2020 by adding an additional funding source and for other purposes.
Moore.
Yes, sir. Greg Moore, Deputy Commissioner, ATL DOT, Capital Delivery. This project is a reference to the Fifth Street Complete Street Project and the additional funding source being impact fees.
Great, I'll move to approve. Mr. Wan, second by Amos. You can open the vote, Mr. Wan.
I just want to confirm, all this is not adding funding, it's just we need an additional bucket of funds to dip into or use in order to make the original amount. Okay, thank you.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 6 yeas, 0 nays. The item is favorable. Mr. Chair, we need to recess the meeting to attend the schedule.
Let's get a few more of these done. We're so close. We're so close. We'll get there by 10:30. Yeah. We'll get over there by 10:30. Don't worry. Yeah.
Item number 27, 23R 3967, a resolution by Transportation Committee authorize the mayor as designated exercise renewal option number 1 for a contract listed herein, the Cab Avenue safety improvements with C.W. Matthews Kelly Joint Venture on behalf of the Atlanta Department of Transportation for the renewal term of 1 year beginning August 27, 2023 through August 26, 2024 with no additional funding required and for other purposes.
More.
Again, Greg Moore, Deputy Commissioner, ATL DOT, Capital Delivery. This is purely an administrative task with an existing renewal for DeKalb Avenue. We are nearing completion. We have the ribbon cutting next week that everyone is excited about. But yes, again, this is just an available renewal just to keep the contract open to be able to finish the work and continue with the contractor.
Great, I'll move to approve. Second by Juan. Please open the vote on item 27.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote? Vote is closed. 6 yeas, 0 nays. The item is favorable. Mr. Chair, we have one item coming off held.
Okay.
Item number 3322R 4705, a resolution by Councilmember Mary Norwood requesting the mayor as needed to make the intersection of Peachtree Battle Avenue Northwest and Peachtree Battle Place Northwest and always stop control intersection to request the Atlanta Department of Transportation to install stop signs at the intersection and for other purposes.
Mr. Smith.
Alan Smith, Deputy Commissioner, ATL DOT, Tim Division. We support this legislation.
Ms. Norwood.
Move approval.
Motion by Norwood, second by Juan. Please open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 6 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable. Mr. Chair, we have one referred item from City Utilities Committee.
Okay.
23R 3960, an amended resolution by City Utilities Committee authorizing the mayor or his designee to execute an agreement for, as listed herein, landfill transfer station with Georgia Waste Systems, LLC, doing business as Waste Management on behalf of the Atlanta Department of Transportation for a term of 5 years with 2 one-year renewal options in an amount not to exceed $1,755,350.0. All contract will be charged to and paid from the fund department organization and accounts listed herein. This item was found favorable. 3 yeas, 1 abstention in yesterday's City Utilities Committee meeting.
Mr. Smith.
Alan Smith, Deputy Commissioner, ATL DOT, Tim Division. This legislation will allow ATL DOT to execute an agreement with Georgia Waste Systems for the disposal of materials associated with infrastructure repairs and maintenance.
Great. I'll move to approve. Second by Norwood. Please open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. The item is favorable. Mr. Chair, we can now recess the meeting to attend the special call meeting.
So just for public edification, we're going to recess so that we can attend a specially called meeting of the full council. When we come back, we will pick up with reports, presidential reports. Today we have a report from Aviation. Before I move to recess, I do want to clarify the record at the recommendation of law that earlier I mentioned that at a previous meeting we went into executive session for personnel to discuss a personnel issue, but the record should reflect we went into executive session to discuss potential litigation, which is one of the few categories with which we can hold the executive session. I will move to recess. Second by Norwood. Please open the vote on the motion to recess.
The The vote is open. Will everyone please vote? The vote is open. The vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. We are now in recess.